Welcome back to Bob's Magic Emporium. Time for the next all-new School of Magic. Classes in session every Friday right here on the School of Magic. Before we get to today's trick, I want to remind all of you I have a website, 444rr.webs.com. Go there, register on the website so you can start posting on the forums. I want everyone to post on the forums. Also, I have a Twitter. It's at 444RR. Go follow me on there. I also have a Facebook page now. It's YouTube 444RR. Links for all that stuff is down below. I post some really fun behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, and just random updates on my Facebook page. So go like me on there as well. All right, today's School of Magic is Ace After Ace. That's the name of the trick, name that I came up with. It's a really fun trick, so let's get right into it. First thing I'm going to do before we get started with the trick is give the cards a shuffle to prove they're not in any order here. There's one, and I'm going to do that one more time. There is two. That is... Whoa. Okay, I almost messed that up. You know what? I just messed that shuffle up a little bit. So let me go ahead and shuffle these one more time because I kind of messed that shuffle up. All right, perfect. So now, if there was a spectator here, they get to do all the work in this trick. But they're going to cut the cards into 4 piles. Your spectator would. So we'll just, I'll give these a cut. Excellent. So now what's going to happen is we're going to do a crazy shuffle. And how are we going to shuffle these cards real crazy? We are going to shuffle them by taking a pile of cards, dealing 3 cards to the bottom, and then dealing 1 card on top of each pile. So let's do that. We have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. I'll do it with this pile. We have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. We'll go this pile next. 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. And finally, the final pile, we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. All right, now, by the way, I forgot to mention that if you're a really good magician, you will have complete control of a deck of cards at all times, even if you don't do any of the work in this trick. All you have to do is snap once, snap twice, makes the trick twice as snappy, but it also brings all 4 aces right to the top of each pile. How cool is that? And that is Ace After Ace. All right, really fun trick to get the 4 aces to appear on top of a deck of cards, on top of each pile. Really fun. All right, set up for the trick. You need a regular deck of cards. Pull the 4 aces out and set the 4 aces right on top. You are now set up to go. That's all you got to do. Okay, so this is a very easy trick. You might have saw how it was done just by watching it. But if you didn't, we'll go through the entire thing because it's a really cool trick to get the aces on top and get them into play in a magical way. Okay, now first thing you can do is you can go right into the trick by doing the cutting into 4 piles if you want. But what I did at the start of the trick was do a riffle shuffle. And I had control of the 4 aces to keep them on top of this deck. What you can do is if you want to show the cards off to the audience, but you don't want to do the riffle shuffle and worrying about doing false shuffles and that kind of thing, you can just go ahead and fan the cards out like this. What I normally do if I do this is I'll fan the cards about halfway down and I'll leave a huge block of cards up here. Now, we're going to talk about that block of cards throughout this entire video. So you know what a block of cards is. It's basically a packet of cards you leave on the top. You don't touch. So I usually fan halfway, something kind of like that, and say it's a regular deck of cards. And that way your audience sees they are all mixed up, but also you don't show the aces on the top. Now, the riffle shuffle that I did was pretty simple. It's a standard riffle shuffle, but instead of doing it like you normally would, interweaving every other card, you're going to leave a block of cards sitting on top. So you start off, if you don't know how to do a riffle shuffle, your 3 fingers go on the back, your pointer finger goes on the top of the cards, thumb goes on the front, and you just take your thumb and let 1 card go, and then 2 cards, and so on and so forth. But you do that with both sides. So you start with this one, let 1 go, and then you let another one go over here, and you just do that. Now, this is the normal riffle shuffle right here, where the cards basically are interweaved through each other. With this false shuffle, you're going to do the interweaving of the cards until you get to about right here. What you're then going to do is drop this whole packet, whatever's left over here, down, and then drop whatever's left on this right-hand side down. What you've just done is you have left the 4 aces. I'm going to push these in. You've left the 4 aces on the top of the deck, which is a great way to keep them. So if you do it up to speed, it doesn't look suspicious. If you do it up to speed and do it fast, it's going to look like you've just shuffled up those cards. See how good that looks? Don't even look like I held the top cards in play. Doesn't even look like I kept those top cards in play. Okay, so once you have done your shuffling or shown the audience the cards are all mixed up or whatever, then you give the cards off to the spectator. Now I wouldn't give them off to the spectator. I would put them where you want them to be. I put them down here in the left-hand corner, bottom left, my left. And they're going to cut the cards into 4 piles. Now, you want to instruct them very specifically in this trick to cut them into 4 piles, but leave about the same number of cards in each pile. Because what you don't want to have happen is this. You don't want to have just like 2 cards in that pile, like 30 in this one, that one, and this. That's too many over here and not enough over here to do what you need to do. So you want to tell them, when you place it down, say cut the cards into 4 piles, but make sure you leave about the same number of cards in each pile. It doesn't have to be perfect, but leave about the same number. So, you know, they're going to leave about the same number in each pile. And again, some cards are going to have more than others, but you want it to be about the same number of cards. Now, you want to keep track as your spectator is cutting those cards. You want to keep track of where the 4 aces end up. And basically, if you put the cards on the left-hand side, most people are either going to go like this to where they go boom, 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 and the aces will end up here, or they're going to go boom, 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 and the aces will end up here. They're going to end up in one of these 2 corners. Most spectators won't do this. Boom, boom, boom. They're not going to do that. Most spectators will go boom, 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 or boom, boom, boom. So, just watch where the aces are going to go. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to go this way. So the aces will end up bottom right. Right about there. Okay, so once they've made their cuts and they've done their cutting of the cards, you are now going to talk about the crazy shuffle. Now, you can do the crazy shuffle, or you can have the spectator do it. Now, if you're a beginner magician and you're just starting out, I'd recommend you do the crazy shuffle because you got to make sure you tell the audience exactly what you want them to do. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is they're going to mess you up. So the crazy shuffle works like this. Normally, sometimes some magicians, when they do this trick, will go across and do this one, and then they'll go down and across. I don't like that, so I reverse the order. I'll start here, and I'll go boom, 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 or I'll go boom, 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 boom. So whatever card you want to start with, just do not start with the pile with the 4 aces on top. So what you're going to do is now, before I do the crazy shuffle, I'm going to turn the 4 aces face up so that you can see what happens throughout this entire trick. Okay, but you're going to keep them face down when you do the trick. So you're going to pick up a pile, and you're going to talk about the crazy shuffle. Again, the spectator can pick one up and be very specific. Tell them exactly what you want them to do. So you're going to say, we're going to take 3 cards and deal them to the bottom. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to say 1 card on top of each pile. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then this pile goes down. Go to the next pile. Same thing. 1, 2, 3 to the bottom. And then 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And then finally, 3 cards to the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Now look what that's just done. It's brought the 4 aces back to the top. Then you're going to go 1, 2, 3. And now you just dealt the 4 aces on the top of each pile. Pretty simple. All right, now before we continue on, let me get this set back up to right there. And what you're going to do is the reason why you deal the 3 cards down to the bottom of each pile, because you don't want to just do this. You don't just want to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. That looks very odd and awkward. You don't want to do that. So that's why you always deal 3 cards to the bottom every time. So when you get to that last pile, it looks natural and like you're supposed to do it. Okay, so it's going to go boom, 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 boom. So now we have the 4 aces on top of each pile. Let me make sure. No, I don't. Why not? Oh, because I did, okay, hang on. I gotta find the 4 aces now. I just lost them. That's true magic there, ladies and gentlemen, when you lose the 4 aces. Okay, there's one. There's another one. How'd that get all the way down there? Okay, and I guess the other 2 are over here. There they are. Okay. So now you have an ace on top of each pile after you've done. Let's go back to here. So, okay, so we're at the final pile. We have 1, 2, 3, and then boom, boom, boom. All right, excellent. So now what you're going to do is, yeah. All right, so now you're going to do a little acting with the audience, because what you do not want to do is you do not want to deal the cards down and then immediately turn them over. You want to have a little byplay. What I did in my pattern was I do the joke that I learned from my local magician who used to run the local magic shop that is now closed, Barry's Magic Shop. But anyways, when he does this pattern a lot where he goes snaps once, snaps twice, makes a trick twice as snappy. I do that. You can also do a one-liner or tell a joke with the audience, but you want time misdirection. Now, if you're new to magic, misdirection is where the magic happens over here, but your audience is looking over here. So you're not having them look in the magic place. With time misdirection, the magic has just happened, and they may be able to figure out what it is, but you want a little length of time between the reveal and when you actually did the secret. So I do a joke, a one-liner. You could, if you had a magic wand with you, you could wave it over the cards or whatever. But then after you've done a little bit of time misdirection, then play it up really big. Don't just go, now look, the aces are on top. You really want to say, now, let's see if I did this right, I should be able to snap, and those aces should come right back to the top. How cool is that? So you had just made the aces come right back to the top of the deck. It's really cool. It's really fun. And it's a great way to go into an ace routine. If you have a trick that uses 4 of the same card, such as the bank robber trick or a trick that I'll teach next week, I'll talk about that in a moment. But if you have a trick that uses 4 of the same cards, especially 4 aces, this is great because you can produce them in a magic way, and then you can do the very next trick. Now, speaking of next, a trick to do with the 4 aces, next week I'm going to continue this theme, and I'm going to show you a trick you can do using the 4 aces. And it's a really cool trick. It's kind of a 3-card Monty kind of scam. And it's by a very famous doctor. If you're a magician, you'll know what I mean by that. But next week I'm going to teach somebody's last card trick. So you don't want to miss that. I just gave it away for the people who are actual magicians. But that's today's School of Magic. If you tried out today's trick on your friends or family, post your success or failure stories in the comments down below. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, subscribe here on YouTube, give this video a big thumbs up. The School of Magic class is in session every Friday, and I'll see you next Friday for an all-new The School of Magic. More. Do you know how to mix up cards? You say, you are not cards. You are not cards. You get the 2 tubes, and you get a certain amount of bottles. Let me grab one of the kids' show birthday party. Adults love the trick too, don't get me wrong, but I think kids actually looks. It looks like you're actually taking and shuffling the cards.